Okay, awesome. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as we talked about, I'm going to run through a general introduction of the magnetic mind method, which is a recent certification that I acquired. I'll give you a little bit of a background on me so you kind of understand what I'm bringing to the table with this. And um, then we're going to experience a short process, but a very effective process, kind of the cornerstone of the magnetic mind method, called a recode. And a recode, just very briefly, speaks to your superconscious self. And your superconscious is comprised of the higher self, which is everything that you've dealt with and experienced in this lifetime, and then all of your genetic lines. It goes back, they say, up to 7 generations, but in reality, probably even further back, because it gets carried on in each generation. So it's perpetuated and carries on and shows up. Sometimes it's almost like another piece of you. If you've ever thought, what was I thinking there? And you think, why was I sabotaging or procrastinating in that situation? Sometimes it's these little pieces and parts of your genetic line coming through, and sometimes at the most inopportune times. So we will speak to that superconscious aspect of yourself, retain all the wisdom from those pieces that have come through, but we're going to remove the blocks which are keeping you from attaining your biggest goals in this lifetime. Because, you know, you're super conscious, everybody in your genetic line really wants the best for you, and it just comes forth sometimes in a less than supportive way. So that's a little about that. So again, I'm Patricia O'Brien, and I have been studying a variety of modalities for a couple of decades now in personal development, healing, neurolinguistic programming, quantum, all kinds of healing touch, the healing codes, the emotion codes, more than I can count, and have done thousands of hours of study and exchanging these modalities with other people, friends, family members, and other people who are getting the certifications. But I've never had something that gave me personally enough of a breakthrough for me to actually bring it out into the world in a format where I was ready to be a practitioner and a facilitator to bring this out and share it with other people. And so I recently, not that long ago, ran across this magnetic mind method, and in a very short time experienced some incredible breakthroughs and removal of blocks, which have helped me to take aligned action towards some of the bigger goals that I've been setting for weeks and weeks, months and months, and years and years. And I just thought, my goodness, if I could help other people do this, that would be amazing, and I would feel a great level of contribution in the world. Now, all the time that I was doing all that study, I held a number of different sales positions in so many different industries: oil and gas, marketing, advertising, real estate, technology. And I thought for a long time that that was kind of self-sabotaging, maybe procrastinating, and maybe some pieces of it was. But I'm grateful for it now because it gave me great insight in the business world about the way things are structured, the way successful sales teams are structured, and things like that. And it's interesting that in the magnetic mind method, that is one of the big underlying premises is it's the way that things are structured. One example that one of the contributors to the modality gives is, if there's a company that has a position that has a failing salesperson in that position, as they get rid of that person, they hire another person who has all the right credentials, has a good background, but they put them into the same position. Within 6 months or so, that person is failing in the same way as the first person. And it's the idea behind this is that there needs to be a modification of the structure of the position. So it's about structure. And I've been given the opportunity through all these different companies I've worked for over the years to see the variation in structure, how you set up someone for success. And the other big piece of magnetic mind that really spoke to me was this idea and the fact that we're not broken. We're not broken individuals, that we're whole, and that we are conscious creators, and it can at any moment take control of the holographic reality that we each live in and create something new without this idea that we need some outside force or some constant supplication in order to heal, in order to fix ourselves, in order to, that endless handkerchief, the magic handkerchief is just like one more block. You think you're never going to be done with it. So if you come from this more empowered position of, I can do this, I'm empowered to do this, I'm whole and complete as I am, and I have all the resources within me to attract everything that I need, it's very, very empowering. So that's why I'm super excited about it. And so we're going to run a recode now. And I bring a little bit of a unique spin to it because of my background and the other modalities that I've been involved in. But the overlying structure of the recode is simple but very insightful. And how it starts is, you want to think about a big anchor area of your life, such as your health or your income, business, or a relationship, really anything that you want. But if you have some area like that you feel blocked in and you can't quite put your finger on why it's like that, that's what we're going to work to recode right now. So if you ladies would each like to select something, and you don't necessarily have to tell me. If at any time you want to talk, y'all are unmuted, you can feel free to talk. You tell me any insights that come through, or if you have a question at any time, please feel free to ask. But you choose a block that you've got, and then we're going to go through some simple questions to kind of understand where you are, your current reality, the desired reality, what kind of beliefs you've held to help you arrive at this current reality, and what kind of beliefs a person who is experiencing the desired reality would be holding. Then we're going to do a recode to remove the blocks which are holding you back so that we can close the gap and you can attain that desired reality. So you can go ahead and come up when you're ready. Just let me know. You can raise your hand, give me a thumbs up, or anything if you've got, okay, you've got a block in mind.
Well, I don't have a conscious block, but I do want to, for example, in my business or in my calling, I'd like to be doing much more, and I'm not where I want to be. So there is a reality ideal gap.
Yeah. Okay. So how about you, Pauline? Do you have something in mind?
Yeah, financial block. I could be earning a lot more than what I'm doing currently. So
it's kind of a similar place. So I'll speak in terms that are like that. And that is a very popular block that we all struggle with. And I just I feel led to remind you all, I'm sure this is not the first time you've heard it, but anytime I talk particularly about big goals like that, it's never only about the money. And if you feel strongly called to do something big like that, I feel very much like it's true that the people that you will serve, it's almost like they're calling out to you. And that's the reason that the dream is so big in your heart. It's most likely, one of your soul's callings, one of your soul's goals. And so we want to go ahead and get to the root of that block, maybe at a conscious level, maybe not, but we're going to recode it insofar as your superconscious will allow it, so that you can close that gap, be more financially abundant, and reach those people and do whatever else you will do with the money. Because oftentimes the money is a means towards some other level of contribution in the world. Okay, so right now, either Elaine, if you want to, we can talk about, how do you describe your current reality with regards to income for your business?
Not well at all.
Not well. Okay. And as we mentioned earlier, you kind of have to have some beliefs that have led up to this point. Because one thing I meant to say as a frame is, whatever we're experiencing today is a result of thoughts that have come from prior weeks, days, so anything we can say right now that you change your mind, it's not necessarily the fact that you'll wake up tomorrow with that reality. So everything that we're experiencing today is a result of everything we've thought about leading up to this point. So what would a person who's feeling the way you're feeling right now, this is not well, this business is not going as well as I would like it to, what would a person have to believe in order to arrive at this point?
Well, I do have a limiting belief if that may be is probably causing problem. And my limiting belief is that people generally don't, people generally, you know, the celebrity effect, people believe people who have already made it. People believe people who are well known. If you are not yet well known and you have great stuff to offer, people will be skeptical. I have that belief.
And that's a fair belief. I can certainly relate to that. And any belief that you have, you can certainly find evidence for it, as I'm sure you've experienced in your life. As you state that, sometime later in the day, you'll have substantive evidence. And look there, once again, there's someone else who's well known and making it big, and someone else who has great stuff. You know, it's outside of you, but it's just it's proving you. It's proving your level of belief. There's someone else with great content, and she or he is still not thriving the way they should. Okay, so that's that belief. And so over here in your desired reality, what does that look like?
I'd like to be speaking to thousands and tens of thousands and millions of people internationally.
Excellent. And what would a person who has arrived at that desired reality, what kind of beliefs would she hold?
That their message can help the world. And I have that belief too.
And that you're seen and that people see your value.
Mm.
You know, and you're standing on stage at all these people and you're like, I knew it, you know, right? Is that about, you know? Okay, so something in between here. If you think about a football field, there's something in between. And when we go into the Recode, the soccer field or the football field, depending on where you are, analogy, what they say is that these encumbrances, these blocks, will pop up like little gopher holes and create little piles of soil. And I'm going to, as we're speaking to your superconscious, ask it to come across with like a feather and just smooth these things over so that you have a clear field. So again, we're going to close that gap and you can have your desired reality. Now, how about you, Pauline? How would you describe your current reality?
I'm working for peanuts. Is how my current reality. And I'm running on my little treadmill for peanuts.
And what kind of thoughts brought you to this point to be working for peanuts and running on the treadmill?
It's easier to that it's easier to ask for very little than it is to ask for what I'm worth.
Okay. And what's your desired reality? How does that look?
My desired reality means I'm coaching full-time, which means that I'm asking for at least the wage that I would have as a full-time person. So, yeah.
And what would a person have to believe in order to arrive at that desired reality? When you're in that desired reality, what beliefs do you hold at that moment?
That it's the same kind of thing as Elaine, that my message needs to be heard, and the skills that I have can actually change people, and they're worth being paid for and paid a premium for as well.
Okay, and for both of you ladies, how would that change your life, going from your current reality to your desired reality? Elaine, like how would that change your life?
I would feel like I'm creating big value with my life, with my time. I would feel fulfilled, and I would feel like, I knew it. You know, if you follow your calling, all that, that's where you're going to arrive at. I knew it.
That's good. That's excellent. And Pauline, how about you?
It's that instant knowing of like, it's the same. It's funny how we have the same thing. It's like I was born to do this, and now my external reality matches my internal knowing, you know, so same exact thing.
Yes. And kind of I touched on earlier, what we're experiencing today, even if you made a change of opinion yesterday or last week or 2 weeks ago, it's a this, what we're experiencing today, is weeks and weeks or months and months, possibly years and years of deeply ingrained thoughts which have brought us to this point. So before we do this recode, I just want to encourage you to keep that in mind, that there can be an integration period and a time before you actually see it come into fruition. Like y'all are already well on the path, because you're both able to say, I knew it, this is what I should be doing, I knew this was going to happen. So that's awesome. You're definitely further than a lot of people who are just trying to search for the words or the imagination with it. So what we're going to do now is, again, I'm going to ask for your permission to speak to your superconscious. And what I'm doing on the backside, so you know, since we're not in person, I'm doing a muscle test on myself. So you don't necessarily have to answer out loud. I'll ask questions, so you don't have to answer out loud. I will say during the recode, I'm going to touch on that fact that I mentioned earlier, that there might be part-time personalities or identities that come forth. And I will, throughout, at an intuitive level, ask if any aspect of them needs to hear the reasons why we want to recode. So that I'm just letting you know that that comes through sometimes, not always. All right, ladies, here we go. So again, we're going to remove the blocks that are between current reality and desired reality, so that you can more easily integrate them. One more thing I wanted to touch on, magnetic mind method talks a lot about the hermetic principles, the 7 hermetic principles. And the magnetic mind is amalgamation of all kinds of science-backed and esoteric teachings and ideas. And one of them one small piece is hermetic principles. Hermetic principles, one of them is the principle of action. And action is broken down further into feminine and masculine action. And the feminine is the thought, the meditation, the ideas, all of that, kind of the incubation period. And as I am doing the recode for you, you're receiving, so you're having a feminine action and receiving the recode, and then it will integrate, and then you will, at the right time, feel prompted to take masculine action, which is to go out there and pursue the right contacts. And with the encumbrances and the blocks gone, you're going to attract more of the right people and opportunities. Okay, so here we go. Do I have permission to speak to your superconscious?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, superconscious, do you see this decision? Do you see this decision from Elaine? Do you see this decision from Pauline? We're going to ask that all part-time personalities and identities for both of these ladies come forth and be cooperative for a recode process for more satisfaction in this lifetime for Elaine, for Pauline. This is their choice, superconscious. This is for more satisfaction. This is for more expression of the soul's effulgence, so that they will each shine brightly in the way that they know that they should and can, and will inspire others to do the same. Superconscious, I'm going to ask that you touch on all memories, 1, 2, and 3, all timelines, all emotions. I have to step out of this for just a moment, because I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to do this piece. Before we started, I meant to ask you, if you think about your level of resistance between attaining current reality to desired reality, I'm asking each of you to give a score on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest resistance that you think that you have. If you had to, don't get too locked up on the numbers, but if you had to give a level of resistance, with 10 being the highest, how much resistance do you think you have from getting from where you are to where you want to be, Elaine?
I think it's 1 to 2.
Oh, so it's not much. That's awesome. Okay.
No, I don't know how to get there.
What's that?
I just don't know how to get there.
You just don't know how to get there, but you know you're getting there. Not much resistance. All right, awesome. And Pauline, what's your level of resistance? Actually, I know yours is going to.
That's all right. Mine came out about an 8. So like, I feel like, yeah,
Okay.
I've been tapping on this, and I keep getting an 8, and I can't seem to get past. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go back into it, and just so you know, the superconscious aspect is always working in the background. So even though I had to pause to get the numbers, we're going to go right back into where we were. Okay,
Mm.
so superconscious, I ask you to pick up from where we were. You see this decision from Elaine and from Pauline. You see this decision for more satisfaction in their lifetime. Ask you to do a massive change history and all that's needed, anchoring this change into the matrix of the universe. Please touch on every memory, 1, 2, and 3, all timelines, all emotions. Ask you to anchor in positive thought. And again, superconscious, I'm going to ask that you do a massive change history and do a recode down as close to a 0 as is possible in the most effective and gentle way possible. With every memory, please ground in positive thought and belief, anchoring this into the matrix of the universe. Thank you. Do a massive change history and all that's needed. Are there any part-time personalities and identities that are unwilling to be a part of the Recode? Are you willing to hear the reasons why the Recode is beneficial? Are you willing to recode some percentage? 90%, 60%, 50%. At a 50% level, are you willing to recode at 50% for more satisfaction? For more satisfaction, I ask you to do a massive change history and touch on every memory, 1, 2, and 3. All tandem memories, future memories, timelines, emotions, any part-time personalities or identities which may surface later. The morphogenic field of this Recode is contained here and will be there for its reference. This is for more satisfaction in this lifetime. Thank you for your cooperation, doing a massive change history and all that's needed. Okay, ladies, while this is processing, I'm just going to ask you, we're in the middle of it. Do you notice any change at all in your resistance number?
Yes.
What number would you give it now?
Like a 4.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Elaine, have you come down at all, or are you still at a 1?
Yeah, well, if it was 2, then I guess it's a 1 now.
Okay, okay, excellent. All right, it's still running, and we're going to ask that it continue to recode for more satisfaction in this lifetime. In the gentlest and most effective way possible, Superconscious, we ask that you take this number to a 1 if it's safe to do so. Or a 0, excuse me, that was weird. Ask you to bring it as down as close to a 0 as possible. Touching on every memory, 1, 2, and 3. Grounding into the matrix of the universe, any tandem memories, emotions, timelines, future memories. Ask you to do a massive change history, and all that's needed, treating the highest priority first, and the most effective and gentlest way possible. Superconscious, are you done? Do you need help? Reinforce this new identity. Ground this into the matrix of the universe for more satisfaction in this lifetime. When you're ready, you may open your eyes. Okay, so like I said, that can continue to kind of process in the background. Did you notice any further change by chance? Anybody? Yeah? Feel? Awesome. How about you, Pauline? What's your number?
I think it's like the number that popped up in my mind is a 0 now.
Wow. That would be awesome. And I would just tell you, since, what's yours?
0 as well.
Oh, awesome. Yay! Closing the gap. So, like I said, anything can happen overnight. I've had some amazing things happen overnight for myself, but I just want to encourage you both that, again, this is kind of a feminine action piece, and it'll continue to integrate insofar as your superconscious will allow, and then you'll feel inspired to take the action parts. And both of you are already really working in your own businesses and realize you've got to take action too. It won't just materialize without it. But that's the 2-piece kind of lock and key piece of action, the principle of action. There's feminine and there's masculine. So thank you again, ladies, for participating, and I'll look forward to hearing more about how things develop. And I'm just so pleased to have had the opportunity to help you with this, and look forward to hopefully hearing some really good success stories. I'm excited. All right, namaste. Thank you, ladies.